Okay, today we're going to be installing an air filter in a 2002 Ford Focus. The process is very similar for almost any car on the road. So let's say you're at the shop, getting new tires or an oil change or whatever it is that you didn't want to do yourself. And the mechanic says, you need a new air filter. Now you think, well, he's trying to scam me out of money, I don't really need it. Or maybe you think you do and you're just really upset that it costs so much. Well, to be honest, the part itself probably costs less than $15. It's the installation, and they usually charge maybe $20, $30 for that. So this will save you about $20 or $30. You can just go to Advanced Auto Parts or whatever your local auto parts store is and buy an air filter and put it in yourself. So even though the mechanic says you need a new one, you can decline it and then just do it yourself, because they're probably right. You probably do need a new one if they're saying that you do. So the first thing you do is you open the hood and you find the air filter. Alright, so every engine has an intake and an exhaust side. If it's a V6 or a V8 engine, it's probably got two exhaust sides and the intake is in the middle. If it's a straight engine like this one, you're going to have the exhaust on either on the front or the back. The exhaust is always going to have cast iron pipes or large diameter pipes, and this is going to go straight to the exhaust pipe under the car and out to the back. So if you don't know which side it is, just follow the exhaust pipe to the motor. The intake side is going to have the intake manifold on it, and it's going to have fuel injectors. It's going to have lots of vacuum hoses and pipes and other hoses and that kind of thing going to it. And it's also going to have this thing coming out of it, which is your intake pipe. The intake pipe goes to a box. Might be a round box, square box, rectangular. This one's rectangular, and that'll have your air filter inside of it. Sometimes there's just some plastic clips that you can pop off with your fingers, and sometimes there's screws. In this case, there's screws. So we're just going to pull those 4 screws off. And then the lid should just come right off. In this case, this little sensor here, it's an airflow sensor, which the engine uses to figure out how much fuel it needs. It's just getting in the way, so I'm just going to unplug it, set it to the side, and now I can lift this up more easily. Air filter caught there. Okay. Alright, so we can just lift this box up and pull the filter right out. To see if your filter's dirty, there's obviously going to be a clean side. The clean side is the side that went towards the engine. And the filtering side, or the dirty side, is the side that goes to the outside air, which in this case is here. And this one doesn't look too dirty. You can see, you can just pull these little pleats apart and look for stuff in there. If this is noticeably gray or black, if there's dust, pollen, animals, sand coming out of it, it's dirty. Use your own judgment. Really, the maintenance interval is usually about 12 or 15,000 miles. It can be more or less, and it really depends on how you drive or what conditions you drive in. Because if you drive somewhere like where there's no dust, somewhere that's real clean air, this is going to stay pretty clean for a while. If you drive off-road a lot, it's going to get dirty really fast. So just make sure you check them. When you get your new air filter, make sure you check it against the old one. Make sure they're the same shape and size and everything. Make sure all the dimensions are the same. You don't want it to be a different size, even slightly, because it won't seal correctly, and then you might get unfiltered air. So once you have your new one all ready to go, you can just lift the lid up and drop the new one into position. And once that's done, you can just put the lid on. Exactly how it came off. Now it's just a matter of tightening up these screws. And lastly, plug in your airflow sensor. So you can see it's a pretty easy job, not much to it. It's probably about a 5-minute job at the most. Some cars are a little bit more different, or a little bit more difficult. Some cars are even easier. My Toyota, it's just you pop off 4 clips and then the lid comes off. There's no tools required. You can do it in a parking lot with your suit on. This car, you got to get a screwdriver and you got to unplug that little sensor, and that's all there is to it. It's really not that bad. So if the mechanic says you need a new air filter, just do it yourself. Say thanks, but no thanks, and then just go to Advanced Auto Parts on the way home and replace it when you get home. Save yourself $30. Go buy 30 McDoubles.